Alright champs, we have a double header today. As we all know, Canelo Alvarez has been jumping from platform to platform trying to land the fight. As we all heard, he is going back to Al Haymon with the PBC to renegotiate his contract. And every day that goes by, Ryan Garcia seems to be making the boxing news headlines. But every time he headlines, it seems that it gets more weird and bizarre even for him. But now he came out and said that he is trying to expose the elites. So these are the topics that we are going to be talking about today. But before we get into that, if you guys are not subscribed, please punch and knock out that subscription button. That way you'll never see it again. And ding that notification bell. That way you won't miss any of my new boxing videos. Alright guys, let's get to the round. Ding ding. Okay champs, let's get started. Okay guys, let's start with one of the faces of boxing, Canelo Alvarez. As we all know, Canelo Alvarez started with the PBC and he signed a 3-fight deal, including both Charlo brothers and then 147-pound Errol Spence. And the contract stated that each fight was supposed to guarantee him $35 million apiece. But Al Haymon, the owner of the PBC, stated that he was not able to give a guarantee of $35 million for Canelo to fight Charlo, because the first Charlo fight was not really a success, and that was undisputed versus undisputed. And that was back then when Canelo signed when the PBC was still with Showtime. And Showtime offered them a distribution deal with a budget. And as we all know, the PBC moved with Amazon Prime, but Amazon Prime only offered them a distribution deal with no budget. So the PBC has to really play safe all the fights they make. And not just that, they also only gave them 12 or 13 fights a year. So the PBC stated that the other Charlo fight would not sell, or would have done the same or even sold less. I know this Charlo is better on paper. He is undefeated, and I always thought he was more skilled than the other Charlo. But this Charlo has been coming off a 2.5-year layoff, and it seems that he's still not right in the head, and he is always drinking, and he's going to other YouTube platforms and asking for money. He is always slurring his words and acts like a straight out drunk. So I believe that's the reason that the PBC did not want to give Canelo $35 million guaranteed to fight that Charlo. But that is not what Canelo signed the contract for. And Al Haymon did try to breach the contract and stated he would give him the $35 million to fight Charlo only if he promises to fight David Benavidez next for a bag of $55 million guaranteed. But Canelo simply said no, and he only gave Al Haymon a week to come up with an opponent. If not, he was gonna go to another platform with his services. So they could not come up with an agreement, and Canelo and Al Haymon both let each other go. So what ended up happening, Canelo went back to Matchroom with Eddie Hearn so they could start negotiating. So Canelo and Eddie Hearn could not come out with an agreement, so Canelo left Matchroom again. He could not get the payday that he wanted with Eddie Hearn. So Canelo ended up going back to the PBC to renegotiate a new deal with Al Haymon and the PBC. Now, it was basically the same deal, but in different order and one different opponent. In the original contract, it was both Charlo brothers, then Errol Spence. But in this new contract, they replaced Errol Spence with Jaime Munguia. And in the original contract, it was supposed to be Charlo for Cinco de Mayo weekend, and then Errol Spence on Mexican Independence Day weekend. But now they switch opponents. Now it's going to be Charlo on Mexican Independence Day weekend and Jaime Munguia on Cinco de Mayo weekend. Now I think this is a very good move, because Jaime Munguia is a very good fight for Canelo, and that fight will sell well. And I am also glad that Charlo is not next, cause last time we seen Charlo, he was still partying in Turf and Caicos. Now I just hope Charlo takes advantage of this extra time and he starts training now. But as we all know, the weight will not be a problem because his last fight was against Benavidez. And that fight was supposed to take place at a catchweight, and he came out weighing at 165. So that was over the catch weight, and they actually let him reweigh himself, but when he came back, he came in at 167. So we know he's not a 160 fighter anymore because he cannot make 160 or even 165. And 167 is only 1 pound away from fighting at 168. So we cannot say Canelo Alvarez is weight bullying Charlo. Shoot, Charlo probably weakened himself going down to 165 and 167. That's why he could not knock out Benavides. And I cannot wait for this fight. It's going to be a lot more competitive than you guys think. This Charlo ain't no joke. He is undefeated for a reason. This guy is good. But that's neither here or there. Let's talk about Ryan Garcia and his recent rants. Now, I really don't want to say too much of what he said, especially of what he said about the youth and what happened to them. I am sure I am with the majority of the people that heard this. None of us will like a person like that. Shoot, probably most of us will actually beat him up and jump him. I never had to jump anybody, but I'm sure everybody that knows will just jump him. Whoever did that while Ryan Garcia was there is disgusting. You guys do know what I'm talking about, right? And Ryan Garcia did not say an age. I'm just wondering how young they were. But I do want to get an answer from Ryan Garcia. I am a religious person, and Ryan Garcia also says he's a religious person. I never miss church. I always go once a week, and I have an altar in my house which I pray twice a day. But I also know evil exists, and I also know about the Bohemian Grove and the Illuminati. I know that Alex Jones infiltrated the Bohemian Grove and shot like a 2-hour video. I actually seen the 2-hour video before, but I don't even think it's on YouTube anymore. It's just smaller clips about what happened, but a lot of the stuff is not there anymore. And I know what the elites have to do to either get in power or stay in power. And Ryan Garcia, you say you're a man of God and you believe in Jesus. How did you get into that situation, and who invited you to those places? And you saw people do that to the youth. Did you participate in any of those activities? Because I very doubt that those kind of people will invite a God-fearing Christian to their parties. Even Boxing Eagle the other day stated, how did Ryan Garcia get all these endorsements? I know exactly what he meant. I'm not dumb. I read between the lines. Usually when somebody gets endorsements like that, they're already in a position like Floyd Mayweather or Manny Pacquiao. I believe to be in those groups, you have to either act like them or are already in the process to join them or already joined them. I really doubt they invited a God-fearing Christian to their parties. And if you really believe in God, you will not accept it. But you did. You were there. And one of the interviews you stated they can't touch you because you're a God and you believe in God. Did you make a pact or did you sell anything, bro? But what do you guys think about Canelo Alvarez? Is he still gonna renegotiate with other platforms? Or is he going to stay with the PBC this time? And what do you guys think about Ryan Garcia? Is he truly a man of God? Or is he just capping to sell this fight? But I doubt a man of God will go this far just to sell a fight. If you guys like the show, subscribe, like the video, share the video, and that's it for me, champs. I gotta roll, and God bless.
I shook up the world! I shook up the world! I shook up the world!